That was the sound of the jar of names. We shall get out a name. This video is for everyone, including but not excluded to Captain RH. Back in the jar of names you go, and we shall continue on. So thank you very much for commenting. That's how you get in the jar of names, by heading on over to Cup of Adventure and posting a few comments over on them videos. But this is a Cup of Tea in a podcast. This is the Cup of Tea. And this is the podcast. Right, so hopefully in the future, maybe now, you never know, down in the comments section there could be a skip list, and you can skip to this week's update, this week's topic, this week's question, and this week's goals. But we're going to start with the update. So what is going on this week? Not an awful lot. We are still behind, unfortunately. I need to get caught up with that. We'll discuss that later in the goals section, though. And vlogs are still going strong. They have been a little bit late. They're supposed to be out on Mondays, but so far they've been out on like Wednesdays and Thursdays. That's just because getting them done. To be fair, Vlog 2 was going to be out on a Monday, but there was an issue with copyright issues with the Doctor Who segment. So yeah, that's what happened on there, unfortunately. But it's up now, so it's not too bad. But hopefully, once we settle in a little bit more, they'll be out on every Monday. But I haven't actually told you that yet, because that's going to be out in a future video coming out probably today or tomorrow. That's the next Cup of Adventure video, proper one anyway. Okay, so now let's go on to the topics. So this week's videos, what have we got coming up this week? We have the podcast right now, it's what you're listening to. Hello. And then we have a Dark Chronicle video called Sushi, think about fish and what sort of enemies we might fight. And then we've got another Dark Chronicle called Sea of Thieves, continue on with the same sort of beachy theme. Something to do with the sea, perhaps. Maybe something to do with thieves as well, but I'm not too sure. And then after that we'll have a Fable 2 video called Beetlejuice. This is because we kill the very iconic, easy enemies of beetles and I make them into juice, because I squish them like lemons to make lemonade. And then we'll have a Dark Chronicle video called Weapon Plans, because I plan out what weapons I want to upgrade and stuff. And then we'll have a Dark Chronicle one called Beach Party, continuing on with the theme of the beaches and the sea and all that sort of lovely stuff. And then we have a Fable 2 video, which I'm not sure what it's going to be called yet, because I can't remember what I labelled it as. I'll have to figure that out when I edit it, which I haven't done yet, which is a problem, which we'll talk about later. And then we'll have a Dark Chronicle video called Gift Capsule Go, very similar to Pokemon, Pokeball Go. But you'll find out exactly why that is a reference in that episode. Then we've got one more called Dark Chronicle, and it's called I Hate Sand, Star Wars reference, and it's continuing with the beach theme. And then we'll have hopefully another Dark Chronicle video called Canyon Pointing, which will have post-commentary, which I apologise for. Okay then, but as for hints and stuff, we're not doing them yet because we're a bit behind, wait until we catch up first. But yeah, let's now go on to the Community Watch, which is a segment where we talk about all things community. Right, so, Mention Monday, these are the people that commented on last week's videos, and I find it quite funny because this is called Mention Monday and I realise I haven't actually done it on a Monday in a long time. Anyway, let's carry on then. So these people we thank. So let's begin with Overlord Master, Horia, Captain RH, Eli Gannon, Max Ravage, Bernard Termeer, Dragonlord 55511, Abby Naddy, Puppy von Vathorst, and Sir Gurgles. So thank you all for commenting, and it's nice to see some people, and it's nice to see some new faces too. Right then, but let's go on now to the Q&A. We have two questions this week. One's from Overlord Master, who says, on Cup of Adventure, will you do any unboxings? I mean, specific single unboxing videos, probably not. I don't get that much unboxing stuff. But what I might do instead is I might put them in my weekly vlogs if I get something, or I'm currently revamping all my videos. Like I'm writing down like loads of new ideas that I want to take into stuff, and I've got quite a few. And there's one type of video which it might be the successor to the podcast, possibly. So that might feature some unboxings, but I don't really get that much stuff anyway. So unboxings might not be a thing, but yeah, until they're properly sorted out in a proper place, if I do any. Just keep watching the weekly vlogs, probably going to be on there if I do anything. I did order an Overlord minion statue, which are very rare, so I might open that up in a vlog, probably vlog 3 or 4, I'm not sure which one it'll be, but it'll be one of them. Dragonlord 55511 says, hello Sir JD262, I have a question and a riddle for you. Question, what are your opinions on Fable 2 so far? I also want to point out, I did indeed call it out when I thought I heard you say Fable 2 instead of Dark Cloud 2 accidentally. I had a feeling that it was going to be your next Let's Play, but it matters not. Oh, I see, that's how I said Fable 2, yeah. Probably a mistake, I do that, happens all the time. Say things I don't think of, because in my head, it thinks faster than what my mouth can say, so I'll say things I'm thinking of ahead of time. And there's a friend of mine that does the same thing, Harry, that you see in the vlogs. He's exactly the same, and we both understand how that works. And it's like, yeah, sucks, but what are you gonna do? Okay, so my opinions on Fable 2, loving it so far. It's weird. It feels more developed than the first game, but it also feels less developed than the first game. It's really strange. Like, there's obviously graphical stuff is much better in Fable 2, and some of the inclusions they have in Fable 2 is much better, like the little rooms you can go in, and there's like treasure in there. I quite like that, and the world seemed better. But for some reason, I feel more connected to Fable 1. Maybe that's because I've had a history with it. Maybe it's because it seems like a more in-depth game, I want to say. Yes, I think that's exactly what I want to say. But yeah, I love the game so far. Like, it's not a bad thing. I definitely love it. But maybe a little bit too short. Maybe that's why people think it's too short as well, because it's not as in-depth, per se, as the first one it seems. And the riddle is, what goes up and down the stairs without moving? Hint, it is the object where some of the most beautiful ones are from Morocco. And it is what you use to wipe your feet when you enter a house. Also, it is when some people tried to hide dirt underneath. And it's one of Aladdin's companions besides his monkey and genie friends. That's actually really funny, because you say that. I'm currently listening to... I'm in this thing now where I'm listening to like musical Broadway stuff. So what got me into it was the Hunchback of Notre Dame one, because that's such a good soundtrack. And I've literally just started listening to the Aladdin one. So it's quite funny you say that. But I believe the answer is carpet. Or carpets. Whichever one you want to say, plural or not. Right, subscribers next then, so let's read them off. So last week, or last podcast, we were at 1,359. This week's we've gone up 4 names to 1,363. So that's a nice number to go up by. And we have no new names to add to the list, which is very sad, because people have their subscriptions hidden. But it's nice that we've got more people in the community. Right, so now we're going to go on to question. Last week's question was about what sort of gaming videos do you tend to go for? And we've got a lot of responses, a lot of good ones as well, which I love. So I'll definitely be taking these into consideration soon when I try to actually plan out my gaming stuff. I'm focusing on Cuphead Adventure at the moment, but gaming stuff will be focused on soon as well. But Overlord Master says he watches adventure games like Overlord and Fable, or sandbox games like Viva Pinata. And he likes videos like unboxings, which you mentioned earlier, which, yeah, maybe I'll keep some of them in them, but I might do them in separate videos on Cuphead Adventure later on in life, and at the moment they'll be in vlogs, like I said. Viva Pinata. I think I can actually do Viva Pinata, and I would love to do it, because I played it a little bit before and I loved it. And I would love to go back to it, because I love that sort of thing. Oh my god, yes. Overlord Master, you might be seeing Viva Pinata sometime in the future. I want to do that, actually. I really want to play it. Oh my god, I could do that. I could actually do that, though. I think that's owned by Microsoft, and I can do Microsoft as long as they don't call it, just Viva Pinata. If I call it like a Viva Pinata Garden or something, or research or something like that, similar to a Fable Adventure, then I can actually do that. Oh my god, I might do that. Really up for that. Horius. Sorry. Before we carry on, he said about adventure games as well, like Overlord and Fable. I'll always do those sort of games. I always do. Horius says he goes for games that are interesting to watch, ergo not Assassin's Creed, or games with very few interesting mechanics or boring story. Yes. So I'm always going to play Assassin's Creed, Horius. I apologise. You're just going to have to deal with it, okay? That's for my enjoyment, which is understandable. But then, how would you feel personally about the new Assassin's Creed games, like stuff just been released that you may not have played? Because I don't know if you play them, but like say for Origins, like say if it won't happen, but say if I got caught up on all the Assassin's Creed games and did all the Let's Plays before that was released, not going to happen. But if it did, and then I played the new ones as soon as they came out, which I will do eventually, would you be more inclined to watch them then, since you've never seen them before, or where do you stand on that? But that's the end goal. I play a lot of end goals, and at the moment I'm still working towards them. But games that are interesting to watch. So, what sort of games would they come under? Like visually stunning games like Flower or Journey? What about Journey? I don't know if I can do that, but what about Journey? Let me know. Captain RH says, Actually, this is a very big one. I might just cut this down a little bit. He's basically saying He prefers the quick cut videos, which I've mentioned before. Which I see exactly what you're saying with that. He says he watches a few people there, like such as Soviet Womble or Germa. Yes, and he's saying that he doesn't think that sort of style would suit me, which I agree with. I'm more the type of YouTuber that plays like a lot of people listen to it in background stuff, which I think when I hear that, it sounds like a bad thing because you don't actually watch the video, but I do it as well, and I don't actually think it's a bad thing because I think with the direction I take my gaming videos, I think that's what I need to focus on. So maybe not. So maybe take that and actually make them with that purpose in mind, that people don't actually watch the video. So maybe I can comment on what I'm seeing and what's actually happening and describing it. Say, for example, if it was just a radio sort of thing, so that you don't have to watch it to understand what I'm talking about. Like if I say, oh my God, look at that. And then I expect people to be like, oh, I've got to go and look at the tab now and see what's going on. Maybe if I say, oh my God, look at that giant thing, maybe that's the direction I can go in, which I think might look at as well. And I'm particularly looking at people like Hannah from the Orgscast. She does sort of similar sort of things where it's long, full playthroughs of games. I might see how she does it and see if I can sort of take some sort of inspirations from that and go in that direction, because that's what I want to try and do. That's the whole point of doing all these things. Anything else? Because that's the problem. That's what happens with their longer videos, and that's what Captain RH basically is talking about. Eli Gannon says he prefers games he likes or he wants to get them. He also enjoys games that he enjoys playing, such as the original Beyond Good and Evil. Stay tuned for that. There's going to be an announcement about that soon for me. Skyrim, he wants me to do Skyrim, which I have said I will do, and I will do eventually. It'll be a while though. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Max Ravitch says when it comes to other YouTubers, he watches Vinesource. Who I did look at, and they do quite small videos, but Max Ravage did also mention about the fact that he watches their live streams, which are typically longer. So I'm thinking that live stream might be something to look at as well, but I don't really have time to do live streams, unfortunately. I had to sort of set time apart, and then things get booked around it, just basically keep that in the back of your mind. We'll discuss that very shortly. And Bernard de Termier says the reveal in the vlogs, which is not a reveal. He said he might try and give it a go to win a statue. Yeah, sure, go ahead with it. There are the hidden things hidden within the vlogs yet. After every, I think it's 10 vlogs, I'm going to give you some clues, like what they actually are. So if you keep looking at them, mate, and you'll eventually see what's going to happen, and you'll eventually get an idea about what's going on. And I hope you do give it a go and see if you can win it, because I think it'd be really good. Right, so he likes my sort of videos where they're long and tactical, because he likes to listen to them before he goes to sleep, or interesting background noise, which we've already talked about. And especially he specifically says like a radio, which I think is great. So yeah, I think something like that then. So they're quite chill, not so exciting and stuff like that, because if he's going to sleep and stuff. So I think that's not probably the direction I'm going for. Because I think a lot of my things, they're not exactly like, say, Jacksepticeye, where it's like, tell me morning, tell you how to go, blah, 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 blah. They're more like chill, a little bit more like this. So maybe that's something to look at as well. More like, I want to say ASMR, but not quite ASMR. By the way, if you can't tell, I'm really enjoying this segment, which is what I'm talking about for so long. Second reason is they go deeper into things. You like a lot of detail and stuff like that, which I think I can try and do. But that's really good. Right, so this week's question is continuing on with the theme of revamping everything. So I've got lots of questions to ask. For my vlogs on Cup of Adventure, I'm trying to figure some nice thumbnails, because I'm really struggling at the moment. So this is what, at the moment on the screen you can see, this is what I've got so far as an idea. I'm basically drawing the number, which is 001, because that's the important information about what number it is. And then behind that, it's like doodles of the things happening that week. So there's scene number 1, it's got the voting with the polling station, Beyond Good and Evil 2's, the Ganesh statues on there. I'm at the bottom there for the Birmingham stuff, Spider-Man's on there from E3, that sort of stuff. And number 2's got, there's a Stark Wolf on there, which is very bad, the Doctor Who stuff. Dentist, the sunflower I did, pizza, kebabs, that sort of thing. So what do you think of these? I know you're on screen now, they're quite big. Check out what they actually look like on the actual Cup of Adventure channel, because I've showed a friend as well and she doesn't like them. She's very honest. She doesn't like them. So what we said I might try and do is I might do the sketches in the background on a piece of paper, and then take a picture of that or scan that into a computer and have that on as the background, similar to how it is on here. But the numbers, make them cleaner by doing it on the computer. So like that'll be text that I can do on the computer. So that way the background can stand out more because the text will automatically look a lot clearer. So I don't have to fade out the background slightly. But so let me know what you think of this. Let me know what you think of the idea that I just said about. And yeah, I'm just trying to find some nice thumbnails for Couple Adventure vlogs, because that's what I want to try and see what they're like. But I'll give you some updates on that in the future as well in the update section. Right, so now we're going to go on to this week's theme. So this week's theme is about Horrier's book. He says, good news everyone, he's finished writing his book, over 1,630 pages long. It's an epic fantasy tale about the rise of the greatest villain in history in all its uncensored glory, which is very interesting because Captain RH says, well done and stuff. He says, a tale about a hero would be interesting, not about the rise of a good guy, but the rise of a bad guy. And Eli Gannon says a rude word. He says he'll read it. I would love to read it as well. I think you did say once before it was in a different language. I was going to say one, but I don't know if it was the right language, so I didn't say it just to avoid the issue of getting it wrong. But I would love to read it if it is in English. If not, I would still love a copy, maybe a signed copy, if it ever gets published. But I'd love to see it. Maybe some excerpts would be nice if we can get some of those, so we can have a little look. Maybe that'd be nice. I'll enjoy that, Horror. Keep that in mind. But yeah, that's why this week's theme, because it's a great stuff. I'm really interested to find out about Horror's book. It's like a community thing that's been made, and it's like, I want to find out more. It's great. Anyway, now let's go on to goals. So unfortunately, the goal was to get the podcast out by the last Sunday. Obviously not happened. It's like Wednesday, Thursday, so it didn't happen, which is a shame, unfortunately, which I apologise for. But the next goal is to get the next podcast out on, so I said this Sunday because I'm going to have to put out the Let's Play videos first, which is going to take at least 2 or 3 days because I have to actually edit them and I have to have time to render them because I haven't done that yet, which I usually do, which is unfortunate. So that's going to take a while. So say that would be by Saturday, and I work Saturday, and there's no way I'm going to get it done when I get back. So when I get back, I'm just going to go sleep. So that's obviously why it's going to have to be Sunday. So it's giving me a bit of leeway to actually get it done, but hopefully that can happen because I really want to get caught up so I can start actually doing some proper stuff. But hopefully this time next week we'll be caught up. Fingers crossed. But I always say that. But I apologise for being behind. It's just so busy. So busy. Okay, but now that's it. So how long is this vlog? It feels like a long one. Nearly 20 minutes, that's not too bad. 20 minutes is like the max line I don't like going past. But yeah, so last week's What Film was Prince of Persia, or as someone likes to point out, which I'm going to have to go and find their names now because I don't want to get it. Bear with me. I should have written this name down. I think I know who it is, but I don't want to guess, just in case I get it wrong, because I don't want to get it wrong, obviously. It was Max Ravage, I was right. Yeah, he says Prince of Egypt, because of Prince of Persia I did a typo in the title where it was Prince instead of Prince. So it's nice that he's still keeping it up. That nearly got this week's comment, because I thought that was quite good, the fact that he's bringing back all these old references, which I love. It's like we've got a history now. But Horrier got it correct by saying it was Prince of Egypt, because it was. Right, but let's finish this cup of tea. Ah, lovely. And that is it. So until the next time we meet, farewell. Please let me know what you think about the logos, and if you've got any improvements you want me to take into consideration with any of my videos, please let me know. Doing it all at the moment. Probably going to make this a better experience for everybody, and I can't wait. I love improving stuff, and I love thinking about ways to improve things. That's what what I want to do as a living, and it's just great. I can't wait to get stuck into this sort of stuff. But that's that. Right, so thank you very much. Until next time we meet, farewell, and I'll leave you now with What Film? Are you sure this water's sanitary?